Welcome to this edition of Collier Focus. On today's show, we'll take a look at the March 27th Board of County Commissioners meeting, a ribbon cutting for the brand new Isles of Capri Paddlecraft Park, and how the county's Veteran Services Department helps those who served our country. I'm Troy Miller. We'll cover these stories and more next on Collier Focus. Stay tuned.
Whether reporting on the latest news stories or hot issues, taking a look at county government services, or announcing what's happening around the county, this is Collier Focus, bringing government home.
At the recent Board of County Commissioners meeting, Interim Emergency Medical Services Chief Walter Kopka gave the commission a report on advanced life support, or ALS, engines. Kopka told the board about levels of service throughout the county and updated the board on some recent changes in service providers.
Marco Island was provided the ability to have the entire protocol and procedures that EMS transport medics have had for obviously for many years. Also, the city in North Naples was given the opportunity as well. So that is a change. Historically, the ALS engines had the ability to provide a certain level of medications and procedures. Now they've got the ability to provide the entire procedures and protocols.
Kopka also gave us a preview of the upcoming Board of County Commissioners EMS Fire Service Workshop.
A forum to discuss emergency services throughout the county, including the fire districts, North Naples, as well as the cities in the county commission. Basically a workshop to look at the entire process and see what options are available for services.
The board's EMS Fire Service Workshop will be held Thursday, April 26th at 9 a.m. at the Growth Management Division's offices, located at 2800 North Horseshoe Drive. Watch the meeting live right here on Collier Television. Commissioner Tom Henning sponsored a move to name the Growth Management Division's Transportation Building the Norman Feeder Transportation Building in honor of retiring Growth Management Division Administrator Norm Feeder. Recognizing Feeder's 12 years of dedicated service to the county, Commissioner Henning commented that Feeder greatly contributed to an enhanced transportation system in Collier County and spearheaded an aggressive expansion of the county's road network that added or rebuilt 437 lane miles. In an era of unprecedented growth in Collier County, Feeder guided the Transportation Division to meet the challenges of that growth. 1,023 Collier County residents signed the application in support of naming the building for Feeder.
Got an outstanding staff that'll keep things going. The real critical component is that we not replicate the past. When I came here in 2000, we had basically disproved the theory that if you don't build it, they won't come. We didn't build it and they all came, so we're way behind. We built our way out of that, but now we're in very, very tight financial times, and we're starting to pull away from it. It's gone from job one to job done. And the danger is now you also have to maintain everything you built, and the growth is going to come again. So I think you got the staff for it, and hopefully you'll find the finances to be able to accomplish it.
The Norman Feeder Transportation Building is located at 2885 South Horseshoe Drive in Naples. Mr. Feeder retired from county service effective March 30th, 2012. As a matter of procedure, the board confirmed the appointment of two division administrators, Nick Casalanguida and George Yilmaz. Casalanguida was confirmed as the Growth Management Division Administrator, replacing Norman Feeder, who retired March 30th. The Growth Management Division comprises 8 operating sections with an annual operating budget of $75.3 million and a workforce of 338 full-time equivalent employees. George Yilmaz was confirmed as the Public Utilities Division Administrator. The Public Utilities Division comprises 7 operating sections with an annual operating budget of $178.8 million and a workforce of 394.5 full-time equivalent employees. Both appointments were confirmed unanimously. The Bayshore Gateway Triangle Community Redevelopment Agency's Executive Director David Jackson brought forth a recommendation that his contract be terminated. The Board of County Commissioners, acting as the Community Redevelopment Agency Board, reviewed and discussed the CRA Advisory Board's recommendation. Jackson told the board that the termination of his contract would preserve enough money to maintain 2 other staff positions for the 2013 budget year. Jackson's contract calls for 20 weeks of severance pay for an early termination. The board voted unanimously to take a closer look at the contract and to bring the issue of contract termination back during the first meeting in May. While acting as the Community Redevelopment Agency Board, the Board of County Commissioners approved the purchase of 2 adjoining vacant lots on the corner of South 1st Street and Main Street in downtown Immokalee. The land will be used for construction of the 1st Street Plaza, which is envisioned as the gateway to the city. We spoke to Immokalee CRA Executive Director Penny Philippi to get more details.
Currently, our downtown is strictly an old-timey downtown, except that we don't have a town center. We don't have plazas that are very typical in South American and Central American countries. So this gives us a chance to have a beautiful entryway into our town and have a town center where you could go out and sit and play your guitar, your kids could run around playing, and a fountain will be making those beautiful fountain noises. It'll be our trademark. It'll be a sculpture of our beautiful trademark.
The board limited the cost of the land acquisition to a maximum of $245,144.20. After the land purchase is complete, the artist's renderings will be turned into design plans. The board, while acting in its capacity as the Collier County Airport Authority, voted on several airport-related items. Approval was given for a site license agreement with the Seminole Casino for a hot air balloon event to be held at the Immokalee Regional Airport on April 14th and 15th. The inaugural Balloons Over Paradise Festival will give people a chance to enjoy the outdoors and look on as more than 30 custom hot air balloons take flight. Attendees will enjoy tethered balloon rides, food, live music, and much more. For more information on the event, go online to SeminoleCasinoEvents.com. Approval was also given to an amendment to a long-term ground lease with Turbo Services at the Immokalee Airport. Airport Authority Executive Director Chris Curry explains why the measure was necessary.
Turbo Services is a jet turbine testing facility that entered into a lease agreement at the Immokalee Airport more than a year ago. A condition of their lease was that they construct or start to commence construction within a year. And because of the permitting process, because of the coordination with fire and other issues, they have not been able to construct their facility within the year. So in order to avoid them being in non-compliance with that requirement, we're extending them 6 months to allow them construction, which should start within the next month.
The board also approved the submittals of 2 grant applications to the Federal Aviation Administration, one for $725,000 for the Immokalee Airport and one for $800,000 for the Marco Airport. The grants are for the design of the restoration of runway 927 at the Immokalee Regional Airport and runway 17-35 at the Marco Island Executive Airport. Both runways are in need of a facelift.
We just completed the taxiway project at the airport. However, the pavement associated with the runway has deteriorated. The last time that any major work has been done to the pavement was in 1976. Therefore, we have requested through the FAA funding to design the rehabilitation of the runway this year and then do the actual construction next year.
Curry explained that the FAA typically picks up 95% of the cost for projects like these, with the State Department of Transportation and the county splitting the remaining 5%. On Friday, March 30th, there was a ribbon cutting for the brand new Isles of Capri Paddlecraft Park.
When you look back at the original plans for this site, there were plans to put a high-rise and a 50 wet slip marina on site. And back during the mid-1990s, when the state of Florida was actively purchasing environmentally sensitive lands and working here around Rookery Bay, we worked with the local community and with the landowners to set this site aside on long-term preservation. So the first step was to acquire the land using taxpayer dollars, and that was a huge step forward. We were really concerned about the environmental sensitivity of this site. We've got seagrasses here, mangrove forested wetlands. It's a gorgeous place to see coastal birds and go fishing and all sorts of things. So it's a fantastic natural resource that we wanted to protect. So we got that work done. The next step was we got some funding from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to do some restoration work. It took about 18 months, but we were able to restore tidal flushing into some mangrove forested areas that had been impacted by some previous work before the state purchased the property. That work is now finished, and so we have a functional wetland, and we're really thrilled about that. And then the last stage was getting the funding from the state of Florida to build the county's first paddlecraft park. And this is an exclusive launch site for the use of kayaks, canoes, and paddleboards, and into, as I mentioned, an outstanding natural resource.
Collier County Parks will be involved in patrolling the park, make sure that everything is managed correctly. We have rangers that will come through the park on a routine basis. Also have maintenance crews that will keep the park up, keep the mowing, keep the restrooms, and make sure everything is kept up as nice as it is today. The hours of operation will be dawn to dusk, and so we'll allow a little time for kayakers to get off the water at dusk if need be. And as people enter the park, the gates will close at dawn to dusk, and as people exit, they'll be able to leave, but then the gates will close, so it'll keep people from coming in after those hours. So
it certainly is our pleasure, county government, to be a partner in this exciting park. As Gary mentioned, this has been some time in the making. We are very, very grateful for the work of the state, and particularly Gary and his staff, in the way that they provide stewardship over the natural resources in our community, and particularly in Rookery Bay. I think it's a one-of-a-kind place, and something that certainly we all want to work very hard to preserve. I want to thank the Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you so much, Benny. Set, snip.
all right. Very nice.
The Veterans Services Department, a part of the Public Services Division, provides a myriad of services to those in Collier County who serve their country. Here is a look at some of the services the department provides.
Collier County Veterans Services, located in a small office with small staff, proved the old adage, good things come in small packages. Just ask Jerome and Cynthia Call. Jerome, a Marine who fought for his country in Vietnam, is suffering from the effects of Agent Orange. He and his wife Cynthia needed help acquiring the essential benefits they were entitled to receive.
Well, we moved from Michigan down here, and I needed to get a primary care doctor and disabled, and Rick here helped us a lot, and the people around here are just so helpful and polite.
Cynthia appreciates the drivers who take Jerome to the VA hospital in St. Pete, and also Veteran Services Manager Rick Torres, who helped Jerome qualify for disability and VA benefits. Torres also helped her receive dependents educational assistance so she could take a beginner's computer course.
From the time you walk into the door, from the time you leave, they help you tremendously. They help you with the questions you have. They just personally take their time with you and really, really help you. They do.
Torres says the goal is simple.
Our ultimate goal at Collier County Veterans Services is to make sure that we're able to screen our clients to make sure that we assist them in getting the maximum benefits for which they may be entitled to from the VA for their military service, and also for their spouses, for any benefits that the spouse or the children of a veteran may be entitled to.
Freddie Vasquez served in the Army for 30 years, including 2 18-month tours of duty in Iraq. After being medically retired in 2011, he needed Veteran Services Officer Eddie Hartnack to help him receive the benefits he so badly needed.
that they actually feel like there's somebody actually out there fighting for you. The VA is like a dark hole. You don't know what's in there, and these guys know how to navigate through those channels.
Folks here truly do take pride in serving those who served.
It is satisfying when I go home at the end of the day and I know I helped someone, especially World War II veterans. You know, I had a case on a World War II veteran who was injured in the service, and they denied his Purple Heart for 62 years. I sent a request to Department of Defense, and about 6 months later, he's had his Purple Heart.
The program would not function without the 20 drivers who helped drive vets like World War II veteran George Moore to hospitals as far away as Miami and St. Pete. Moore, who served from 1943 to 1945, is on his way to the VA clinic in Fort Myers. Volunteer driver Ed Dalton explains why he volunteers his time.
Just the feeling of accomplishment, helping these guys out a little bit. You know, my son's in, I was in, and you give back a little. That's my feeling about it. It's one day a week, and these guys, you know, they need a little help, you give it them. I enjoy it. It's satisfaction. Gets me out of the house. My wife is thrilled. She doesn't have to put up with me.
So whether you are a veteran or would like to volunteer to help one, give Veteran Services a call at 252-8387. Bill Fassold for Collier Focus.
That's all we have time for on this edition of Collier Focus. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.